Hello everybody, hope you're doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. Today I'm going to be going over a couple different charts that I created to kind of prove a point. We're getting to the point right now where a lot of people, especially those of us who invested in the right cryptocurrencies very, very early, are now experiencing absolutely incredible gains. Seeing amounts of money in your crypto wallet that literally just blow your mind. And a lot of people, and rightly so, are thinking about selling to protect these gains. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking profits because nobody ever lost money taking profits. But at the same time, we are now at a time where selling presents as much risk as buying does. Because by buying, you could be taking the risk of losing your initial investment. And by selling, you could be risking missing out on incredible life-changing gains. And most people are looking back on the history through the charts and comparing the previous cycles to the current cycle. And I do this as well because the past is one of the only ways that we have to attempt to predict future price action. But at the same time, this leaves us blindsided because when new trends arise, they hit us completely unexpectedly. Now, I do believe that we are in a cycle that is brand new. It resembles the 2017 cycle and will most likely operate just like it for a considerable amount of time. But I do believe at some point there is going to be an incredible divergence when now, for the first time since cryptos like XRP have traded, are now starting to be dominated not only by the technicals, but are also being completely dominated by fundamentals, which is something that we didn't have in past cycles. We're getting to that point now where many of these cryptocurrencies are actually being utilized. So we are about to see price discovery in a way that we have never seen it before in the past. And that's important to consider when you're looking at the technical analysis now trying to make a decision, because there's a whole new aspect coming into play that has never been considered in the past before because it simply did not apply. Now I'm going to show you some very interesting charts. This is the XRP monthly chart, and as you can see, XRP has traded within this channel since the very first day that XRP ever traded. It has always stayed within this channel, and it has hit both extremes, the low and the high range of this channel, even though it has spent the majority of its time trading within the median area of the chart. You can see that when XRP first started trading, it traded up to the 3/4 mark, eventually fell back down. In the median cycle, it came up to the 50% mark, falling back down all the way to this green channel right here. This line right here, the second line, represents the 0 point. This right here is a negative space. So this would be your best buying opportunities. Up here in the red, this represents 100. This right here, the space in between, represents the best time to sell. Now in 2017, the price action traded all the way up into that upper range before falling back and consolidating, coming back on the median bull run in 2020. It didn't even get to the 3/4 mark, then consolidated all this time to where we are now, to the present breakout. Now this present breakout came right off of the 0 point line. And if you look back to the 2017 cycle, that's about the same area that the breakout on the bull run started there. Trading up into this medium area right here, which is between the 1/4 and the 1/2 mark. Almost right in the center of it, but just a little bit towards the 50%. This is where it broke the all-time high. After that point, the price traded all the way up to the very top range, crossing the 100th percentile. Now, that's almost exactly where we are in the current price action. After breaking through the all-time high set at about $3.33, which varies depending on the chart you're using and which exchange's chart you're using. But you can see the similarities to these two runs right here and here. We're at about that same spot on the charts, right here. Now we are seeing and hearing some absolutely mind-blowing predictions of where price is going to take us in the present bull run. And as crazy and ridiculous as a lot of those may sound, a lot of people, if you say $20, $25, laugh at you and blow it off, not realizing that the amount of price that we have seen appreciate thus far in this cycle is nothing in comparison to the past cycles. Now think back on this very first cycle back before the 2017 breakout, when price was trading just a little more than half a penny. Now when the price was down here before this candle formed, how ridiculous do you think it would have been to people holding at this level to think that the price could come out and take out this all-time high at 6 cents, let alone get up to $3.33. Now, $3.33 would have seemed like an absolute miracle, like impossible. And I guarantee you, the people down at this level holding at half a penny were experiencing the same thing then that we are experiencing now, that we are at $3.33 talking about experiencing price action in the upper 20s, 30s, 40s, even higher. Now, once this got up to 6 cents, I guarantee people were thinking, it could go a little higher, but most of them were not even considering the fact that it was going to go $3.33 and set a new all-time high. And that's the exact same thing that we're dealing with right here, right now. So if it could run in 2017 from 6 cents to $3.33, we have that exact same potential now. One of the main differences being that back in 2017, there wasn't near as much liquidity available for purchase, so when the demand increased, it would tend to run the price higher. But at the same time, we have an ace up our sleeve now because we have the fundamentals on our side, which did not even apply whatsoever at this point. So not only do we have technical analysis, but we have the fundamentals. We also have XRP going basically mainstream to this point. We are now at a time where a lot of people have been made aware of the fact that XRP has indeed made an incredible run, and people are starting to take time to learn about it. People who never would have invested are now investing in it. So we also have that on our side because the demand is increased 100-fold compared to what it was back in 2017. And the availability to buy, sell, and trade XRP is way higher now with all of the exchanges that you can utilize compared to what was available in 2017. So we do indeed have the same or greater potential for ourselves at this point in time to run from 333 back up to this upper band here, exactly like we did here, and maybe even beyond that up into this range or beyond that level. Now here's another chart that I'd like to share with you. This is XRP versus the US dollar. Now generally, commodities will rise in price as the dollar loses value, and as the dollar gains value, commodities get that pressure and actually lose value. So they generally move in opposite ways. And right now, the dollar and XRP, as you can see, are moving in tandem with each other, both moving upwards, which is actually putting a lot of pressure on XRP. If the dollar was actually moving against XRP right now, we would probably be more than double the price we're seeing now. But since they're moving together with each other, it's putting pressure on the price of XRP, actually slowing down its potential movement. If you look at this chart, each one is numbered, and the color of the bar represents whether it was bullish or bearish. And if you look at the one here on XRP, the first period of price appreciation that we saw when XRP made an incredible move for the time back in 2013, the dollar virtually went down the entire time. Then when we had the median run back in 2014, XRP went straight up. The dollar actually matched that move, which makes sense why it wasn't quite as dramatic. Then when we get to the biggest move that XRP ever made back in 2017, virtually going straight up with the exception of this consolidation period, The dollar basically did the exact opposite and depreciated nearly the whole time, with the exception of this part right here corresponding with this part in the XRP chart. So this consolidated, as well as the dollar trying to gain some ground. Then in 2020, we saw the median breakout, pulling straight up through that box the whole time. Price appreciated with the exception of this drop here in the center. Now if you look at the dollar was losing value nearly the entire time in comparison. And you look at the cycle that we're in right here, right now with XRP, and you compare this to the dollar, you can see that they've been moving in tandem with each other. But this last candle that formed, they actually diverged from each other a little bit. XRP jumped up big time, and the dollar ended up going down. Now, one thing that you want to keep your eye on is the dollar, because if for some reason something happens and the price of the dollar gets kicked in the tail end really hard, you're going to see the exact opposite reaction in XRP. And if you see times where the dollar gains incredible amounts of value, you will see the pressure on XRP. So even though they have been trading together since this breakout, which started on the elections on November 5th, if at any point the dollar reverses this trend and starts to work downwards, losing value, we're going to see XRP make moves that absolutely blow the moves we've seen so far out of the water. It could absolutely be mind-blowing. And a lot of people aren't paying attention to this, the fact that they're trading together. If we see a divergence with the dollar going down, hold on, because XRP is going to make some substantial gains. And I just don't see a universe where the dollar is going to be able to continue to outpace XRP when it's in price discovery for the first time in 7 years. And the dollar is getting so strong, they're going to have no choice but to eventually devalue it in one way or another, because the dollar going up in value is absolutely destroying the global economy. They're not going to be able to allow the dollar to appreciate like it has been, or there's going to be devastating consequences for all the countries around the world, probably with the exception of the BRICS countries, because they literally have their own currency now. It's backed by gold, and they don't need dollars. So that may just be the excuse that they need to flip the switch, ship all those worthless dollars back to America, and start using their own system, which is far superior, at least at this point. So that's just something to consider. And another very important thing to remember, just like Orwell said, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Be the one that tells the truth. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching. Just know that you are appreciated. Have a great day.